Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you a way that you can practice your e-file skills and get a cool design out of it. It's kind of a not polished geometric mix and it is so good at really practicing some vital fundamental e-file skills and control. I hope this is, helpful to you. If you want to give it a try, let me know how it goes. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and I will see you all next time. Bye!
All right, so here's the first bit I'm going to be using. The nail tip I'm practicing on already has a fairly thick overlay of color acrylic, and that's going to be step one. So just make sure you have an overlay of color acrylic that is moderately thick. Now taking this bit, which is a carving French tip bit, so I'm going to start making these little grooves with one straight side and one smooth kind of tipping up side. Right where the one ends, then you're going to go through and do the next one. Don't do this on a person because all this repeated e-file like sliding across your nail is going to probably end up burning, but definitely a great thing for doing on a tip. So as long as this is like away from a finger, you're good. So as you are carving these little valleys going down, and I'll kind of give you a side view in a moment. So you've got the sharp point and then it kind of like smooths down. So go right along, going all the way across, doing one right after the other. This is just this is the first practice. Everything about this nail is going to just really reinforce some e-file skills. This is a great way to really practice control and getting those lines nice and straight. It's just such a good thing to just try to do. So you see how they kind of make little shark teeth, like a little serrated blade? Now I'm going to do on the other side, go through and do one then after the other. This bit is for carving in a French tip. I don't think I've ever actually used it for that. I've used it for things along these lines. I've used it to carve a French tip in like a demo and like to practice it, but I've never actually done it on a person. I think I would feel like it was risky because it is such a sharp edge on there. So now that we have all of these little serrated lines going through, make sure they're nice and smooth. So you can look at them from the end, feel them, see how they feel, just kind of get an idea of them. So just going all the way down in those really straight lines. If you do have a bit that has this kind of like flared texture or flared shape, it's going to really help you. You can do it without that. You'll just have to really pay closer attention to your angle. Now fill in all those grooves you just carved with a separate color of acrylic that is contrasting from the background color. So let's say you were doing this in black and white. That would look fabulous. Again, I'm doing this in like pink ombre and white, but either way, whatever you got. So I'm going to take and I'm going to just fill in all of these grooves with acrylic. Do it so carefully so that you don't end up with a huge mess on your hands. Wet acrylic is going to flow into those grooves easier than a very dry, stiff bead of acrylic. So maybe use a little bit more monomer to your polymer ratio as you normally would, but just allow those to fill in all of those little spaces that you have created. Go all the way from one side of the nail to the other. The other thing, just to make sure that you don't end up with any air bubbles or anything, is to take your time and try not to do the whole thing in one bead. Allow yourself the luxury of doing 3 or maybe even 2 beads of acrylic. After you have this all the way down, you're going to notice you don't really see where your stripes are, as well as, they're not evenly across all the way. So take any bit you want that you like for finish filing and finish file this nail so that the very edges of each of those grooves starts to show. Don't make it so that it's a really thick line, but just so that the edges of them really show. From left to right, all the way across, top to bottom, make sure that they show. Try not to make them show too much, but just enough. So this is, again, look at this. You're practicing some finish filing. This whole design and concept was made with the intention of having it be an e-file kind of like crash course. So now we are going to finish file over this whole nail. Look at that. It's so great. Finish filing is my favorite. Not really, but it's a good thing to know how to do. After you have it where the shape is nice, I'm going to, and this is the other thing I'm paying attention to, I am making sure that my shape is well done at this point. Go back to that French tip carving bit and go across the nail the opposite direction. So you really could start either way. You could start by going vertically or horizontally, but whichever way you did first, you're going to do the opposite direction now. So carve your first line going all the way across. I find it more difficult to carve from left to right than from top to bottom. It's just, I don't know what it is. I just think it's easier to do it the other way. So I'm doing the more difficult way next. And then after you do the first line, kind of like tiling, start in the middle of your room and then work outwards. I'm going to do the next line going across and then just do line after line, trying to keep them as parallel and as straight as possible. After I have the first couple done, you can really see those triangles start to like come up. You can really see their spots in there, which is just so cool. It's fun to get to do these like no gel, just all acrylic designs. So now that I've got those first ones, I'm going to go through and work my way up, worked my way down the nail. Now I'm going to go the other way. And if you look at it from the side, again, you will have that serrated blade shape because you're making the same shape. So we're going to just continue going all the way up. It would be fun to just experiment with different colors with this type of a concept, different ways that you can do carvings and fill and carve and fill and get different patterns. Any of this type of a thing where you're just really taking your time and creating something with your e-file is going to give you some fun, give you some practice, and it'll be so beneficial to your, life as an artist that uses an e-file. After you have all of those grooves sculpted, if you want it to be textured like a serrated knife, go ahead and leave it. If you're like, I'd rather this be smooth and not cut myself when I'm trying to, live, then go ahead and encapsulate this with clear acrylic. Once it's encapsulated, the texture will be just as smooth as any other nail once it's encapsulated and filed, and it will still look 3D because the dimensionality will show through the clear acrylic. After you have this fully encapsulated where it is totally smoothed over, you know what you get to do again? I know, just, brace yourself for the excitement. You're going to get to finish file it again. So as you're finished filing, use whatever bit you would use on yourself or on clients so that you're using the bit that you're comfortable with. So if you normally use a safety bit, use a safety bit, even if it's not on a person. That's just going to reinforce the practice and the skills that you are creating by making this when you're using a bit that you intend to use. Apply a layer of gel sealer or gel top coat, whichever one you would prefer, over the whole nail, nice and smooth. It's really going to show off all of that texture and amazingness that you created. And then that's it. Isn't that amazing? It's so fun to make something like this and know that you are really getting some good skills out of it at the same time. I hope that this helps you. If you have any questions on bits or anything e-file related, definitely let me know. I'm here to help, and I will see you all next time. Bye.